I'd like to, ask a personal question. I actually wanted to end with this question, but since you've talked about transformation, I'd like to ask you this question. You probably couldn't meet a more unspiritual person than me. I'm a non-believer.
Really?
I'm not spiritual, and we've actually had this conversation before.
No.
But in terms of feeling intensely or faith,
No, let me clear this.
what would you say to someone like me, sir? Since you're saying that everybody, in that sphere.
See, everybody wants to be the best. I'm the most unspiritual. Why are you the most unspiritual? I'm here. Because your idea of somebody says, I'm the greatest devotee, somebody says, I'm the worst atheist. It doesn't matter. Everywhere you want to be number one, don't be that. Nobody is number one, all right? It's a cyclical world, we all come and go. Nobody was born first. Are you Mr. Adam? You're not, right? So, nobody is number one. About your idea of being spiritual, your idea of being spiritual is somebody who is looking up and chanting a mantra or sitting in a temple or a church or a mosque. No, they are people who are looking for some kind of solace in an established form. But spirituality essentially means that you are a seeker. See, you must understand the fundamental distinction. When you say, I'm religious, you refer to yourself as a believer. That means you believe something. When you say, I'm spiritual, you refer to yourself as a seeker. When does somebody become a seeker? You can become a genuine seeker only if you realize, I do not know. If you see, I do not know, you don't have to label yourself, I am a seeker. The nature of human intelligence is such, if you realize, I do not know, it starts looking, it starts seeking. So seeking is not a concocted version of life, it is the nature. If you don't mess with life, if you don't mess with your children, they are all natural seekers. If you don't tell them stories for which you have no basis, they are all natural seekers. But why do you become a believer? You cannot handle the uncertainty of seeking. So you become a believer. What will you believe? What somebody said. Someone means who? Somebody that you hold as high, or somewhere it is written in a book which you hold as sacred. So essentially you make an authority into truth in your life. It will give you solace, but it will not give you a solution. A seeker means he is not looking for solace, he is looking for solution, where truth is the only authority. Authority is not the truth. So, when you say, I'm the least spiritual person, no. If you have 1,000 questions or 1,000,000 questions, that means you're a seeker. So spirituality means it's a seeking, not a conclusion.
What would you say, if someone came to you, Sadhguru, and said, I'm skeptical of spiritualists and yogis and mystics and things like that, what would you say if they were asking you to convince them to believe
I tell them even
in
I
your
am.
word?
Even I am very skeptical of all of them, including myself. So, you must understand there is a difference between doubt and suspicion. Doubt is very healthy. You doubt, because of that questions arise. Question cannot be wrong. See, questions cannot be wrong. Only the answer can be wrong, so you don't have any problem, that's all I'm saying as a journalist. Because you're always asking questions, and questions cannot be wrong. So if somebody thinks a question is wrong, that's because they don't have an answer. So the way we have handled questions in this world till now is, if somebody asks a question and you don't know the answer, kill the questioner. That is handled, well handled. In that generation, nobody ever dares to ask that question once again. You kill one man here in this hall for asking a certain question, you think anybody else will ask that question again? It's settled. So we've been dealing with things like this, that time is over. This is the age of spiritual process, because questions will come, everybody will ask questions. You cannot stop them from asking questions. At a time like this civilization that you call as Bharat becomes most significant in the world, because this is a place, even when so-called divine entities came, We only asked them questions. They could not give us any commandments. Shiva came, if he opened his mouth, his wife, she asked him 1,000 questions, she freaks him with questions. Arjuna, Krishna tries to open his mouth after 36 years of association to the person who is close to him. He tries to open his mouth, that too in an extreme situation like a battle. That guy asked hundreds of questions. You know, we were trekking in Tibet and there were nearly about 30 plus nationalities with me. And one Indian person from America started asking a question. Indians have 10,000 years of question-asking practice. So he's asking question inside a question inside a question. The question went on for about 8 minutes. And all the other people, their eyeballs were rolling because they're not able to figure out what is the question. Then I said, you stop it, you know, this is an Indian question, you guys won't understand this. Because Indians have been practicing asking questions like this endlessly. You go into any Indian scripture, question inside a question, trick questions and trick questions. Then one Chinese lady raises her hand and says, Sadhguru, I worked in the United Nations for 27 years. Even there, only Indians asked questions. This is a fact because this is a culture where we encourage questioning because this is a land of seeking. This is not a land of believing. We don't have any belief system. We seek. Mukti is the goal.
No, this is true. Indians do ask a lot of questions everywhere. Sadhguru, since you do believe in very simple questions, if someone were to ask you, what should I do in my good times? What should I do in my bad times? What would you say to them?
If you think there is a good time and a bad time, you got it all wrong. You're alive, it's a good time. When you're dead, it's a bad time for you. You're alive and you think it's a bad time, you're missing the whole point. Because you must understand… How old are you, Shiv, can I ask?
Yes, I'm 43.
43. 44 years ago, where were you? 45 years ago, where were you? You did not exist. Yes?
Yeah. Terrible time.
I'll bless you with another 110 years, that means 60 years later, you will be again dead, all right? You won't exist. Your existence is just a brief time here. In this, you're dividing what is good time and bad time. All of us will be dead for a very, very long time and we are alive for a very brief time. In this, don't create good time and bad time. Living time is the best time.